Project Thor, Rods from God. In the realm of military innovation, where cutting-edge technology blurs the line between science fiction and reality, one concept stands out as both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Project Thor, also known by its chilling nickname, Rods from God. This top-secret project, conceived during the Cold War, was designed to create a weapon so devastating that it could deliver death from above with the force of a nuclear explosion, but without the radioactive fallout. And if the whispers from classified corridors are true, this weapon may not just be a relic of the past, it could be closer to deployment than we realize. The concept behind Project Thor is as simple as it is devastating. Imagine a cluster of tungsten rods, each approximately 20 feet long and 1 foot in diameter, orbiting silently above the Earth at hypersonic speeds. These rods, fired from space and accelerated by the force of gravity, would plummet toward their targets at speeds exceeding Mach 10, striking with such incredible force that they could obliterate bunkers, underground facilities, and entire city blocks with precision. The impact of one of these rods would be equivalent to the detonation of a small nuclear bomb, but without the fallout that makes nuclear weapons so politically and environmentally destructive. The idea was born out of the Pentagon's desire for a global strike capability, a weapon that could hit any target on Earth within minutes, with no warning and no defense. The notion of using kinetic energy weapons, or mass-to-energy devices, was first explored in the 1950s and 60s, but the technology to implement such a weapon was decades ahead of its time. However, with the advancements in satellite technology, targeting systems, and orbital control, Project Thor became more than just a theoretical concept. It became a terrifying possibility. What makes Project Thor so lethal is its simplicity. Unlike missiles that require fuel, guidance systems, and complex launch protocols, the rods rely purely on kinetic energy. When released from orbit, the rods would accelerate under the force of gravity, reaching terminal velocities that would allow them to strike with unimaginable force. The sheer kinetic energy generated upon impact would be enough to penetrate deep into fortified bunkers, destroy enemy command centers, and even cripple underground missile silos. But here's where the story takes a chilling turn. While officially, Project Thor was never developed beyond the concept phase, many believe that the technology was never truly abandoned. The U.S. government has consistently denied the existence of operational space-based weapons, but classified documents suggest that the concept of kinetic bombardment has been revisited multiple times in the years since. Some theorists argue that elements of Project Thor have already been integrated into the United States' modern military strategy, hidden under the guise of classified defense programs. In 2003, reports surfaced that the Pentagon was exploring a program called Prompt Global Strike, a system that could deliver conventional weapons anywhere in the world within an hour. Although the official description focused on hypersonic missiles, many speculated that Prompt Global Strike was a cover for the resurrection of Project Thor, a way to deploy kinetic weapons from space without alarming the public or violating international treaties. The implications of such a weapon are staggering. A nation that controls the high ground of space would hold the ultimate power over Earth. The ability to strike any target with impunity, with no warning and no chance of interception, would tilt the balance of global power irreversibly. Project Thor would render traditional defense systems obsolete, making it impossible for any adversary to defend against an attack launched from the heavens. Critics argue that the deployment of such a weapon would trigger a new arms race in space, with other nations scrambling to develop their own space-based strike capabilities. The militarization of space, once considered a distant nightmare, would become an inevitable reality. And while the Outer Space Treaty of 1967 prohibits the placement of weapons of mass destruction in orbit, Project Thor operates in a legal gray area, because technically, kinetic energy weapons are not classified as weapons of mass destruction. If Project Thor exists, It would represent the ultimate checkmate in global warfare, a weapon that no nation could defend against and no adversary could counter. And as the world's superpowers race to secure dominance in space, one question remains unanswered. Has Project Thor already been deployed, silently circling the Earth, waiting for the moment when its devastating power will be unleashed? The answer may be closer than we think, but for now, the chilling shadow of Project Thor looms quietly above us, a silent harbinger of a future where death comes from the stars.